Candace Owens, the most downloaded podcaster in the world, claims there was an assassination plot against her. And before anyone shrugs it off, you need to understand exactly what she has been uncovering and what she has been exposing, and why the most powerful institutions on the planet suddenly see this sister as a threat. What's happening right now is not whether if you like Candace Owens a lot. Get out your feelings, please.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine, where life, culture, community, and faith meet truth, power, and purpose.
Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome to the Publisher's Desk, and I'm Black Westchester publisher Damon K. Jones, Black Westchester Magazine, blackwestchester.com. And today we're going to talk about something far more serious than politics, something bigger than Democrats versus Republicans, something deeper than internet drama. Candace Owens, the most downloaded podcaster in the world, claims there was an assassination plot against her. And before anyone shrugs it off, you need to understand exactly what she has been uncovering and what she has been exposing, and why the most powerful institutions on the planet suddenly see this sister as a threat. What's happening right now is not whether if you like Candace Owens a lot. Get out your feelings, please. It's about whether free speech still exists in America when someone with a massive platform begins touching conversations the establishment has declared off limit. The assassination of Charlie Kirk, the international protection network around Jeffrey Epstein, the involvement of elite political figures in the U.S., Israel, and France, and possibly the elements of the state or actors connecting to it. They are willing to silence dissent by force. This is not a small moment. This is a turning point in media. Candace Owens went on camera recently and said that she feared for her life. Not figuratively, literally. She revealed that she created what she calls a life insurance package, a digital dead man switch filled with text messages, emails, videos, private legal documents, and communication trails, and distributed it to 8 people she trusts. She didn't hide who they were. She made it clearly that the packages went to journalists like Mike Blumenthal and figures like Andrew Tate. She said if anything happens to her, those documents would detonate and expose the people trying to silence her.
But I went ahead this week and sent around a life insurance policy of sorts, a package rather, to people that I trust, a package filled with text messages, emails, private communications, videos, and private legal documents. So if anything happens to me, you guys will know exactly who it is that has been making my life a living hell over the past couple of years. People that are trying to bankrupt me and my family, that are threatening us to sue us. Everything that Kanye said was so real, okay? I'm now at that point where you look back and you go, man, Kanye was right. He was really saying something about what it takes to leave, to fight for custody of your own soul. Just leave me alone. Let me say what I believe and you say what you believe. Fight fair.
Let that sink in, brothers and sisters. Candace Owens believed she needed a dead man switch because of what she uncovered. Now, this isn't performance, brothers and sisters. It is a warning. Why would someone this prominent fear assassination? The answer is in the substance of her reporting. Candace Owens was the only major public figure challenging the official narrative around the assassination of Charlie Kirk. According to commentators, analysts, her findings, she obtained inside communications from accused shooters' families, and those communications contradict nearly everything the public was told.
So I do want to say that. Also, I'm glad that Andrew responded correctly, because I was going to say this when Blake's like, well, the investigation's ongoing. That text message has nothing to do with an investigation whatsoever. It has to do with the broader question of people feeling that Charlie's legacy is intentionally being hijacked by Israel. I never stated that Israel kill Charlie. Anybody that's been watching this investigative series, we've come up, I mean, there hasn't even been an Israeli name that's popped up in this investigation. There's only been one Jewish person, I think, that's popped up thus far in this investigation, which is George Zinn, decoy boy. So they're just saying that. They're just saying that. I just wanted to say that he was under a tremendous amount of pressure.
She revealed text messages showing that Charlie Kirk had privately criticized Israel and said he could no longer support the direction of Netanyahu and the Israeli government. He also allegedly claimed certain donors were acting in ways that fed directly into the anti-Semitic stereotypes.
I mean, I'm telling you guys, I've been through a lot of media attacks. I have. You name it, I've been through it. This is another level. Okay, this is like, it's like there's a thirst there that I've never seen. They are all parroting the same talking points. They're clearly collaborating. I can tell you it's a Zionist attack. I've lived through enough of them. This is what they're like. And they all kind of say the same thing, slightly different. And the idea is to pile up and hope. And if people keep seeing the same thing, they'll just believe it's true. And of course, defending Bibi Netanyahu seems to be at the center of it all. That Zionists control a lot of publications in America. That is just a reality. We can even go through that. It's a little weird that I have never said throughout discussing this case, which I care very much about, that Bibi Netanyahu murdered Charlie Kirk. Tucker Carlson never said that. Megyn Kelly never said that. Dave Smith never said that. Instead, what we are doing is we are disputing Bibi Netanyahu's narrative that him and Charlie were on great terms and really friendly. He had just invited him out. And here's this love letter Charlie wrote. He heavily implied that. And he was saying way too much, too fast, and too soon. That didn't feel right. And we just wanted the truth to be out there. I don't know who specifically came out and said that Bibi killed Charlie Kirk. But now that he's for the second time denying that he is, people are going, what's actually going on here? This is weird. When Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I didn't feel compelled to come out and make 2 videos to tell people that I didn't kill him. That would be weird. Like, you would be like, Candace, that's very strange. Why do you feel like you need to say that? If Tucker Carlson had to make 2 videos saying I didn't kill Charlie Kirk, you would go, that's weird. Megyn Kelly, I didn't kill Charlie Kirk. Why would she do that? Of course she didn't kill Charlie Kirk.
Candace has also challenged Kash Patel in giving real information about the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the Israeli connection to his assassination.
And this part is crazy. I guess it's not really crazy. I think I saw like Milo Yiannopoulos tweeted, I think Israel did it. And that's because he was tweeting about the bizarre lie of them saying Erica Kirk was accepting this award, and they completely fictionalized it. They've just been lying nonstop, quickly, right? Right out the gate. Bibi Netanyahu doing propaganda rounds, denying that he had anything to do with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Perfectly normal thing to do, right? Perfectly normal. For some reason, I didn't feel compelled to do that. I didn't feel like I had to get on camera and make a statement that I didn't kill Charlie Kirk. But Bibi Netanyahu felt that he needed to do that. And all of his sycophants in America echoed that statement, and nobody had accused them. A thief runneth when no one pursueth, right? Well, here's some explosive news for you that I can now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, confirm. Putting my name on this. Not only can I confirm this, but I can publicly challenge the very Zionist occupied Trump administration, who is aware of this, to deny it, to come out and say, no, that's not true. Okay? And if Kash Patel is done crying about the mean tweets on the internet regarding his sensational singing girlfriend, he can also certainly make the time of day to deny what I am saying if it is untrue, right? Because this is pretty relevant. Now, I should say that some people had actually reported this earlier. Like Mel, I've been telling you to follow her, Village Crazy Lady over on X. She was actually very early with this reporting, and I had heard rumors and rumblings, but I wanted to make sure that I had verifiable proof, enough proof that I would go out on a limb, as I'm doing right now, and asserting that it is authentic and it is real. Ladies and gentlemen, there were, for whatever reason, 12 Israeli cell phones on the ground at Utah Valley University the day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. This has completely spooked the people that are very high up in government. Now, to be clear, I don't mean that there were 12 VPNs that were switched and routed through Israel on that day. I mean that there were 12 personal cell phone accounts that were opened in Israel, okay? Like you go into Verizon in Tennessee or in Connecticut and you open your phone. I am saying that they opened their phones in Israel, those accounts in Israel, and they were on the ground on September 10th at Utah Valley University when Charlie was shot. Now, the NSA knows this. Kash Patel knows this. People in the current administration know this, and they are desperate for some reason to stop that information from being released to the public. Why? Because they're the most transparent administration ever? Is that why? Is this like Jeffrey Epstein transparency that we're getting? Because that's what it feels like. It always seems that on the topic of this one nation that's only the size of New Jersey and has done nothing wrong ever and was truly the greatest friend to Charlie right up until the very end, never put any pressure on him, suddenly everybody abandons their values. True friends of Charlie Kirk, right? Standing.
Owens has also been exposing the international connections between political elites and the Epstein network, naming individuals and governments in United States, Israel.
As a Zionist that was loyal only to Israel. He was throughout his career a prominent Mossad agent. It totally makes sense given his earlier association with the Batar, that Zionist group, after his parents wanted him to become a rabbi. We learn more about Robert Maxwell through the lens of Victor Ostrovsky. Now, if that name sounds familiar to you, it is because he is the man who notoriously defected from the Mossad. And if you don't know him, you should become familiar with his work. He felt that he had to defect because their activity was fundamentally unconscionable, and he ended up writing a book revealing Mossad secrets. The book is entitled By Way of Deception. He claims, by the way, that that is the Mossad motto. By way of deception, thou shalt do war. He was confirmed, by the way, as an Israeli agent, so he's not some random crazy guy publishing a book. And he was trying to alert the public to a lot of their shady tactics. And I'll just give you one example of that. Here's what Victor Ostrovsky had to say about the Mossad.
I mean, when I was in the Mossad, and we had a guy that gave us problems in the U.S., and he was speaking out, and he was talking like Pete talked once and said, Israel is bombing Lebanon with cluster bombs. We say, hey, who's that guy? You know, Pete Makaki, we used to call him. Yeah, which is Pete the cockroach. Because he makes a lot of noise and you can't get rid of him. So what you do is you get in touch with a guy in the station in New York or in the station in Washington. You say, tell the guys at B'nai B'rith to label him. And of course the campaign starts, and before you know it, the guy's labeled. And he's an anti-Semite. Because that's what we say he is. And that's one stain you cannot wash. Now, it shames me as a Jew to tell you that. But that's the fact. And it's wrong.
Very honest, we've been seeing a lot of that as of late, as we start asking questions, meaningful questions that we deserve the answers to, particularly as it deals with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Anyways, Victor claims that regarding Robert Maxwell, quote, the Mossad financed many of its operations in Europe with money that was stolen from Maxwell's newspaper's pension fund. They got their hands on the funds almost as soon as Maxwell bought the Mirror, his newspaper group, with money that was loaned to him by the Mossad.
What Candace Owens has done is connected Maxwell to the Mossad, and then Ghislaine Maxwell, Maxwell's daughter to Epstein, and proven they both were working for Mossad.
To Ghislaine, because she is the daughter of a Mossad agent. There's no question about that. Robert Maxwell was her father, and the Mossad does not deny that Robert Maxwell was an agent, and therefore the most obvious link between Epstein and the Mossad would be Ghislaine. But currently we are being told by the media, by the mocking Israel puppets, by Israel's former prime minister who's come out against Tucker Carlson on X, that it is ridiculous to suggest that Epstein could have been working for the Mossad. There is no evidence that is anti-Semitic. What happened to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, bro? This is like, I don't even know, Newspeak. This is them doing that thing where they delete history right as it's happening and think that nobody's going to go backwards and take a look at what actually happened, or if there was maybe somebody who told us that Epstein was working with Robert Maxwell. Because the news story that's emerging is that Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell met in the 90s, right? So they're saying that news story because Robert Maxwell was already dead. That thereby deletes any possibility that Epstein could have been connected to the Mossad via Robert Maxwell. He really just genuinely met Ghislaine Maxwell in the 90s. And I really hate to destroy that narrative. Actually, I'm lying. I don't really hate to destroy that narrative. I actually just hate liars. But here we go. This is a guy I'd like to introduce you to. His name is Ari Ben-Menashe. He's a man who claimed to have had several meetings with Jeffrey Epstein in Robert Maxwell's office all throughout the 80s, like a decade before the media is telling you Ghislaine met Epstein. Ari Ben-Menashe would certainly know, considering he worked for the Mossad, and he even spent time in prison due to his work for the Mossad because he got caught being an agent for Israel. So I'm going to show you this clip, and credit here to the work, tremendous work, and we'll credit people along the way here, of Whitney Webb, Zev Shalev, these people who have been on this Epstein story for years. Well, Zev Shalev has a podcast called Narrative, and he interviewed Ari Ben-Menashe in 2019. I'm going to show you a couple of these clips. If you're listening to this on audio, it might be difficult for you to decipher if you're not reading along, but it's okay because I'm going to break down everything after. Here is the first clip. And again, this is Ari, who is speaking with Zalev. Take a listen.
So Maxwell introduces you. He says, here's this young guy. Yeah. And did he go by the name Jeffrey Epstein, or did he go by a different name?
I remember Epstein, Jeff Epstein.
Okay. Because he had a different passport that he was traveling in and out of.
That's right. Yeah, but that came later.
Okay. So he says to you, here's this guy, Jeffrey Epstein, who I know from around.
And your Israeli bosses have approved.
Oh, okay.
Already approved.
So it came down from up above. So what did he do? Can you say what he did for you? Or like what kind of work did you guys do together?
No, he didn't do anything.
Oh, so you met him and that was it?
I met him a few times in Maxwell's office. That was it.
And did he do any arms deals for anybody else that you were aware of?
Not that I know.
Because there's the, I guess there was an
he didn't.
MI5 operation.
He wasn't very competent. He didn't seem to be a competent guy. He didn't seem to be. But he was a good-looking guy. And Miss Maxwell,
Ghislaine,
fell for it.
And Ghislaine were agents for Israel. Take a listen.
She got involved with Israeli intelligence together with him.
Right.
But not in this arms deal, in Iran or business.
Would you say she was an agent as well? Was she someone working for Israeli intelligence?
Oh, definitely.
Military intelligence as well?
Yes.
And when that happens, because I have no idea how that world works, so I'm learning a little bit.
It happened by accident.
Do you get orders and you have to do certain things, or is it more like...
No, you get projects. What really happened, my take on it, and the later thing, is that these guys were seen as agents, but they weren't really competent to do very much. And so they found a niche for themselves, blackmailing American and other political figures.
For the Israelis?
Yeah.
So it's hard for people to understand why Israel would want to get blackmail on an American. I'm asking a question that I can answer it quite probably, but for most people it's hard for them to think about Israel as being blackmailing their leaders in the United States. It's a very...
It was quite their MO. See, sleeping around is not a crime. Maybe embarrassing, but not a crime. But sleeping with underage girls is a crime.
She described a deep state of global protection around Epstein-linked individuals. And now, she claims someone is tired of her silence. To make it even more serious, the investigation platform Veritas published what they say were leaked text messages allegedly involving Mary Barr Daley, a former senior DOJ official and daughter of the former Attorney General Bill Barr. In these supposed texts, Daley appears to say we need to blackmail Candace faster. The messages have not been authenticated. They are allegations, but the fact is such a claim even exists, involving former federal officials talking about blackmailing a citizen journalist, should set off alarms to every newsroom, every courtroom, and every congressional office in America. Instead, the establishment responds with laughter. This is exactly how free speech erodes, brothers and sisters, not through censorship, but through denial, intimidation, and selective indifference. And finally, one of the most craziest things I ever seen in journalism is Candace Owens bringing the information. And let me tell you, this is how we connect the whole French government to this. But she went further in her tweet. But Owens reported that other reporters in France said that Brigitte Macron was born male. And the lawsuit that the French First Lady had against the reporters, Natasha Ray and Clairvoyant Amandine Roy of defamation, was a major legal moral victory. And in Candace's view, the fact that the higher court found their statements fell within protected speech or were made in good faith and not punishable as defamation means that her own commentary about the French First Lady being born a man has been vindicated. And she told her audience that mainstream media outlet rushed to declare that Brigitte Macron won. Legally, the French court did not rule that the rumor about Brigitte Macron is true or proven. It ruled that the defendants could not be criminally punished for making those allegations. But politically and symbolically, Owens is presenting the decision as evidence that powerful elites tried to use the court to crush who questioned them, and they failed. For this case has become less about Brigitte Macron's identity, but more about the lengths to which that state-aligned institutions will go to police speech, punish dissenters, and then quietly retreat when their pressure campaign doesn't work under scrutiny.
The women who claimed Brigitte Macron was born a man are cleared of defamation because that's how the truth works. It's amazing that they even initially got convicted because of corruption, of defaming the French First Lady. It was this false conviction that the media then touted out as a win, saying, see, she's not born a man. But that actually wasn't what was at root of the case, as many of you guys know that have been following the series. Anyways, what has happened today is that the judges that were sitting at the Paris Appeal Court on Thursday ruled that Amandine Roy, that is the 53-year-old clairvoyant, and Natasha Ray, and she has been absolutely fantastic. She's a 49-year-old journalist, blogger, and researcher that teamed up and first and foremost put Xavier Poussard onto this story when he was having trouble even finding basic facts about Brigitte. And she said, yeah, that's because Brigitte was born Jean-Michel Trogneau. And so now the court has ruled that they had every legal right to make those allegations. More specifically, Brigitte brought the case in regards to a 4-hour YouTube video broadcast where the two of these ladies were sitting down. And Brigitte is alleging that there were 18 instances of defamation. Well, the court has ruled that those 18 instances did not constitute defamation, or they were based in good faith. And like I explained throughout the series, they were never attacking, Brigitte was never attacking the claim that she was born a man. She was being super petty and trying to get them on a technicality of defamation for misspeaking. They tried this with me. Oh, you said this photo was recolorized, but it wasn't actually recolorized. And then trying to get someone into the courtroom, and then the judge says, oh, yeah, it wasn't recolorized. And you go, oh, look, we won. It was defamation to suggest that this photo was recolorized when it wasn't. That was the game that they were playing so that they could give the journalists something to tout out as a win. Now they've come back and said, you know what? That's not enough. Okay, that is actually not enough. These women did not defame you. And so their lawyers were cheering outside of court. I can't imagine what it feels like for Natasha Ray and Amandine Roy. Natasha Ray got sick with cancer throughout this. Brigitte did not care, has been attacking these women for being the first to expose what is so obviously true. And it's a major win. That's all we can really say. Both of these women had claimed that they were subjected throughout this time to intimidation by the authorities, by these ultra-protected members of the Paris establishment, these sick, perverted members of the Paris establishment that were trying to cover up a state secret. Why does it feel like this is happening everywhere in the world? Why does it feel like some perverted individuals are actually running the entire globe? Anyways, lawyers for...
If a progressive journalist had made these claims and they were investigating an assassination, uncovering foreign interference and exposing Epstein-era corruption and receiving threats tied to government actors, the FBI would have already had a task force. MSNBC and CNN would run specials. Congress would hold hearings. But because this person making the claim is Candace Owens, they likely wouldn't do anything. This exposes the truth. Free speech in America is not equally protected. It is granted selectively depending on your politics, your usefulness, and whether your voice threatens the wrong people. Now, brothers and sisters, I'm going to tell you something. Personal experience. Retaliation is not hypothetical. I have lived it. When I exposed in blackwestchester.com, y'all could Google it. Or you could chat GPT it, however you want to do. But when we at Black Westchester exposed the corruption in Mount Vernon, New York, former Mayor Richard Thomas didn't just dispute my reporting. He launched a coordinated effort to destroy my life. My wife, who is a detective for the Mount Vernon Police Department, was unjustly suspended for 10 months. City officials even harassed my personal business, Cupcake Cutie Boutique. It was a bakery that my family owned. They intimidated customers. They tried to get people to lie and say I threatened them so I could get arrested. Even the mayor's own brother falsely claimed I pulled a gun on him. See, none of that was politics. It was punishment. It was punishment for speaking the truth.
Developing now, the mayor of Mount Vernon is resigning after pleading guilty to corruption charges. Mayor Richard Thomas, seen under the umbrella, walked out of the courthouse in White Plains just a short while ago. Thomas admitted to stealing campaign funds for his personal use and lying about it on a disclosure to the State Board of Elections. He was ordered to pay a $13,000 fine and sentenced to 1-year conditional discharge. He's not allowed to run for or seek any public service positions. Thomas will leave office effective September 30th.
And if small city officials in a finance-strapped city like Mount Vernon will weaponize its police department, its government officials, its political influence to target local journalists, why is it so unbelievable that global actors could target someone who reaches millions of people every day? And exposing the elite networks and challenging the international interest. See, brothers and sisters, free speech may be a constitutional right, but retaliation is a political tool. And anyone who has ever spoken the truth, they know it. So let's step back. Whether every detail of Owens' claims is proven or not is not the point in this show. The point is that powerful people do not want certain truths investigated. They do not want certain networks exposed. They do not want certain assassinations questioned. They do not want Epstein's political clients named. They do not want donors criticized. They do not want foreign governments embarrassed, and they definitely don't want dissident voices building platforms too large to contain, like Candace Owens. Almost every retaliation campaign in modern history begins quietly, financially, legally, or socially. And when those tools fail, some actors escalate. Candace Owens is telling the world she believes the escalation on her has begun. And the frightening part isn't the claim. The frightening part is the silence among society. If the #1 podcaster in the world says she fears assassination, has a dead man switch, and has the evidence involving some of the most powerful people on earth, and the system laughs instead of investigates, then we are no longer living in a country that protects free speech. We are living in a country that protects power. Free speech dies when the public stops caring who gets silenced. Free speech dies when journalism becomes loyalty. Free speech dies when the powerful are beyond question. If they can go after Candace Owens for asking questions, then the First Amendment isn't dead. It's being killed slowly, publicly, and with our permission. If you care about the truth, transparency, and freedom, brothers and sisters, hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe. Not because it helps my channel, because these are the conversations that will only survive if we refuse to be silent. Whether you like Candace or not, they are trying to silence that Black woman for asking questions and speaking truth to power, whether you like it or not. And if it can happen to Candace, it can happen to you. And if we don't stand up as a people, then the norm is to be quiet. The norm is to not challenge. The norm is to not speak truth to power when necessary. And then we will all be slaves to the algorithm of power and lies. So once again, please like, please share, leave a comment. And thank you for watching Black Westchester Magazine, blackwestchester.com, the publisher's desk. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay blacktastic. Peace out.
Tired of the same emotional politics that lead nowhere. Emotional Politics, Logical Failure by Damon K. Jones is the book Black America needs right now. It exposes the lies, challenges the gatekeepers, and calls for real strategy, not just symbolism. Power starts with truth. On sale, now, and available in audiobook on Amazon.
Tolerance is for Cowards by Damon K. Jones. This book is not anti-police, it's pro-community. Discover how the extended policing strategy empowers you to demand real public safety, justice, and accountability from your local police department. Because the Black community deserves good policing. On sale now on Amazon and Audible. Discover Jesus and Divine Black Masculinity by Damon K. Jones. This a bold blueprint to restore faith, manhood, and purpose in Black America. Because the Black community needs good Black men. Available now on Amazon. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like and share it with others who need to hear the truth. And for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes access, join the Black Westchester Magazine YouTube membership club today. Your support helps us keep independent Black media strong. Support independent Black media with style. Rock Black Westchester merch and represent the news with the Black point of view. Every purchase helps us speak truth to power.
This is the Publisher's Desk with Damon K. Jones, brought to you by Black Westchester Magazine, where life, culture, community, and faith meet truth, power, and purpose.